Yeah, so in some senses, if you were to give the lawyer's opinion that an entity would be 501c3 applicable, then you might as well just go through with the application for that entity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
But it's a formal process. The process is like is the same as a U.S. domestic entity submitting to IRS for recognition as a 501c3 organization.
Got it. And the foreign entities, do they need to set up a U.S. Entity, sort of like a C corporation or something? No, they can just register directly in the U.S.
Correct. Submit their application to the IRS.
Got it. And they would be kind of federally covered, right? They wouldn't be kind of under any state AG's kind of radar, I guess. It would just be a foreign entity registered federally.
Correct. Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 所以刚才我们
and of course, there's no tax deductibility feature or determination.
Oh, okay.
You're only granted the tax exemption.
Oh, okay. So there's no tax deductibility for the foreign NPO that registers in the U.S. Only tax exemption.
Right. Correct.
Got it. So the people in the U.S. that make the donation still don't get the deductibility, so to speak.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
But for U.S. private foundation and U.S. charity who want to make grants to such organization outside the U.S., it's a lot easier.
Oh, I see. So individuals can't get the tax deduction, but if I donate to, let's say, XYZ Foundation, I can get the deduction when the foundation gives to, let's say Taiwan Ciji, then they can essentially make sure that that is being used in a 501c3 friendly way. So I can still get the deduction just through a foundation instead of directly.
Right, technically, yeah.
Technically, correct. Okay.
Yeah, but because there's also a rule that U.S. charity cannot be a conduit.
Oh, okay, got it.
Cannot be a conduit. Okay, yeah, you cannot be like donating $1,000, to a U.S. charity, and then U.S. charity in turn take the same $1,000, making a grant to a foreign charity.
Yeah. So is there any way for a foreign charitable organization to get tax deductibility in the U.S.? No, there isn't. Okay, so it would need to be a U.S. entity separate from the foreign one, because the U.S. entity can't really be owned by the foreign one either. It just needs to be a separate entity altogether.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, okay, maybe I said no too fast. In theory, it might be possible. I never seen one done. I suppose if a foreign charity's board is all controlled by U.S. persons or individuals, and you submit application to IRS, it potentially could receive a tax deductibility determination. But
it's unlikely.
It's controlled by U.S. people.
Got it. Okay, so the entity must be controlled by a U.S. person for the tax deductibility to take place. And even though a private foundation or a public charity can give to the foreign entity that's registered in the U.S., the tax-exempt foreign entity, it's not tax deductible to individuals that give directly. Got it.
Correct.
And also the U.S. entities can't serve as a conduit. Wow, this is fascinating. Okay, okay, then I'm going to try to parse some of that through to Chinese, so for our Chinese audience. 所以刚才我跟 Tim 讲了一长串，主要的内容就是在讲说，如果是一个国外的非营利组织在美国去做登记的话，那他们等于是可以接收美国的charity 或是 foundation 的捐赠。那这样子的好处就是美国的 charity 跟 foundation 在做这个捐赠的时候，他们就不用每次做捐赠的时候都去 follow 我们刚才所讲的，就是这个foreign donations 这样子的 rule 这样子，或是出具律师函这样子。 那另外一个是说，如果是一个美国人，他想在美国抵他的所得税，他可以给一个charity 或是 foundation，那这个 charity 或 foundation 可以再把这个钱给这个境外的组织，但是不能是说我给你这个美国的 charity 就是为了要给这个境外组织，因为我就是要抵税，就是不能这样子直接的关系。但是如果是就是一堆人去捐给这个 charity， 这个 charity 又准备去捐给这个境外的 charity 的话，那这样子的可行性可能就会比较高。这样子原则上就是可以。美国的组织如果是一个境外的组织，在美国有登记的话，美国组织就可以捐赠给这样子的境外组织，这样子。那目前来说的话，如果是一个境外的非营利组织要在美国做登记的话，它大部分的时候是可以收到刚才Tim 所讲的 tax exempt， 就是说它可能投资的一些收益是不用缴美国的所得税，这样子是这样子。然后但是如果是一个美国人要降低他的所得税，要捐给这个境外组织的话，那这样子可能就是不可行的。那刚才 Tim 所说，可能有一个情况是这个境外组织如果全部都是美国人控制，那这些美国人可以去决定去让 IRS 去判定说这个组织是不是在美国可以去就是让别人抵缴所得税去做这样子的捐赠，但是目前还没有这样子的案例，所以可能这样子的可行性不一定这么高。所以原则上，如果是美国境外的组织在美国去做登记的话，它是可以在美国做投资，不一定要缴美国的所得税，但是而且可以接收美国这里不同非营利组织的捐赠。但是如果是个人做捐赠，直接给这个境外的组织，就算在美国有登记的组织的话，那这些人不能在所得税上去扣除他对这个境外组织做的捐赠。
是的，没有错。
I think I got that. Okay.
yeah.
It's just a little complex. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's a very interesting detail. Okay. Got it. So I think for my next question, for U.S. gift giving, a lot of foundations are kind of set up by these ultra wealthy individuals, maybe some with hundreds of million or over billions of dollars of assets. But from my understanding, you don't need to have that level of scale to build a private foundation or to operate one. Is there kind of a certain threshold you should meet before kind of creating a private foundation or a public charity in terms of an initial kind of lump sum gift or kind of a gift over time? Like what size of client or what size of gift do you typically work with in terms of when you set up a private foundation or a public charity for clients?
Yeah. There's no minimum size requirement. And I would say most private foundations I've seen, the size range from a few $100,000 to several $100 million.
It's a big range.
So I remember I've seen articles that reported that around, more than half of the private foundation have assets less than $1 million, I think. Yeah.
Okay, you said less than half or more than half?
More than half of the private foundation in the U.S. have assets less than $1 million.
Oh, wow.
Meaning that private foundation could be really small private foundations.
Okay, yeah, that's a really interesting statistic. So actually, there might be many smaller private foundations that kind of operate on a smaller scale, and kind of they do still facilitate gift giving and have all the advantages that we previously talked about that the billionaires have, but maybe they operate on a much smaller scale.
Right. It's just a different philosophy of operation using the same type of legal entity, private foundation.
Got it. OK， 所以我刚才所问 Tom 就是Tim 的就是说，这个private foundation 有没有一个最低的金额限制这样子？因为可能我们在新闻上都有看到说很多就是美国这里的 billionaires 他们去设立 private foundation 啊，比如说就是 Bill Gates 啊，他们去设立这样子的基金会。那是否一定要这么大的金额，还是多大的金额才能去设立呢？那Tim 刚才有说一个数据是说，超过一半的美国的private foundation 都里面的资金可能低于100万美金这样子，所以其实不一定是每一个 private foundation 都有这么大额的金额，而且他们 manage 的形式可能也会不一样。所以这个 private foundation 其实是一个非常有弹性的一个组织，就是说不管你投资，就是不管你捐赠的金额是大还是小。它可能都有方法去设立，而且都有方法去有一些相关的优势，就我们刚才讨论到的一些优势，不一定要到很大的金额才能去设立这样子的 private foundation， 而且它的税负的优势跟它的一些操作的优势跟控制的优势，它其实是不管你这个private foundation 是多大还是多小，这个法律的依据其实是一样的，所以也鼓励大家可以去多考虑说在设计家族传承跟设立信托的过程中，可能也可以去考虑说相关的 private foundation 是不是也是值得去设立，尤其这个大家都知道美国信托不可撤销信托里面所做的一些投资，可能在美国的税负其实是蛮重的。那这样子的情况下，可能有一个 private foundation 是可以可以有一些税负的优惠，这样子可能让大家操作也会比较合适跟比较顺利一点。对 ，OK， yeah, thank you, Tim. Is there anything else you think you would like to add for our audience, kind of both here in the U.S. and outside in Asia?
No, not really.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much, Tim. Yeah, it was a very great time talking to you as always, and we definitely shed a lot of light on the details of setting up a U.S. foundation and public charity. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure the audience will find digesting our content to be a little bit difficult, but also quite interesting. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.